Woo! Hey everybody, Jim Salmons here from the Kayak Fishing Show live. As a special edition of the Kayak Fishing Show live, brought to you by Ballast Point Brewing Company. As always, today I'm holding a Sculpin, grapefruit Sculpin. This is my favorite, but again, not drinking this week, unfortunately. Still on some medication for one more day. I can drink beer tomorrow, which is cool because my daughter's coming into town and I haven't seen her in a few months. So we'll be doing a lot of partying the rest of this week. So anyway, thanks for joining us for this special edition of the Kayak Fishing Show live. As a reminder, on this Friday, Wes Siegler from Siegler Reels will be joining us, and somebody's going to have a chance to win something cool from Wes. So I hope you can all join us this Friday at 2:00 Pacific time and talk to Wes about all the cool stuff he's got going on. Of course, we always hope if you're joining our shows that you can, like, comment, share. A lot of weird stuff going on with Facebook right now. So supposedly they're going to be putting more emphasis on groups. So make sure if you want to be notified of any of our shows that you do join the Kayak Fishing Show group. We're going to slowly build that thing up. But I mean, I've got 145,000 followers, something like that, on Facebook on our regular page. But now we have to build up this group because they're changing stuff. They're putting emphasis on groups. So we just want to make sure that everybody who wants to see the show actually gets notified of when we're doing a show. So, of course, the shows are always better when you bring us the questions, comments, all that. We have a really cool prize today. We have, you may have seen it, I posted it up, very cool print from Guy Harvey, and that'll be a signed print. So somebody who comments, likes, shares this show is going to win that prize. So please, please, please join the conversation. So anyway, with us today, we have got, let me get that out of the way. We have got Kevin from the Guy Harvey Resorts, and we're going to be down there in St. Augustine, Florida next week. We're going to be doing one of their academies on the 18th from 2 to 5 p.m. So I'll be there. Bart A Swab is going to be there. Some of the other guys from the Kayak Fishing Show or the Jackson Kayak Fishing team are going to be there. So please join us for that. But anyway, we got Kevin from Guy Harvey Resorts. Wow, let's bring that up a little bit different there. There you go. Kevin, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Kevin, we were trying to get Kevin on, the joys of live streaming. We were trying to get him all connected, and he literally popped on the screen just as we were getting ready to start. Yeah. So I'm glad you finally got that hooked up. I don't know if nobody's asking questions or if something's weird with Facebook the last few days. And normally we get people saying hello and all that. So I don't know if we're not getting comments or if we're just not seeing them. It's kind of odd. But Kevin, what do you do at Guy Harvey Resorts?
Well, I'm the executive vice president. So a lot of the stuff we do is try and, facilitate programs at the properties to make sure that we sort of create a Guy Harvey message and engage the customer from a standpoint of fishing, conservation, items like that we think is important from the Guy Harvey fans. So St. Augustine's been a great destination for us. We enjoy Bart there, who does a great job kayak fishing. So, we want to make sure there's programs for people of anglers like in the Guy Harvey world and the anglers out there that come to the resort and enjoy the properties.
Very, very cool. So for people who are watching, again, I opened up Facebook on another screen. This is why I have multiple screens here. I opened up Facebook and I see there are people commenting, but for whatever reason, they're not showing up over here. Although the comments from our fans on YouTube are, because we are broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube. So for whatever reason, we're not seeing, but at least I can kind of look at it over there and I can bring up comments. Mark Ryan is watching on YouTube. Mark, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. He says, we're here. I see Jared Radazovich is watching from Wyoming. Michael Guerrero is watching. Ryan Howell is watching. So we have got some comments. They're just not coming up on the screen for some reason. So, that's all par for the course, and we just kind of we'll just roll with it. So as far as the Guy Harvey resorts, the ones that we're going to be heading to in St. Augustine, right there on the beach, looks like a really, really great location. I'm excited to be able to come and join the place. What's so special about this one? I mean, it looks very cool.
Well, I think the destination itself, St. Augustine's the oldest city in the United States for one, so a lot of history in that small little town. Downtown, it's got a lot of great charms. So if you go downtown, you're a very small drive to the beach, which St. Augustine Beach is rated as TripAdvisor top 10 beach by TripAdvisor people as far as its beach is fantastic. So you go there, you have a great beach life. It's got a great outdoors, fishing for one, obviously, but just walking the beach, you got a lot of area compared to some of the other places in Florida that are a little more crowded. So I think, from a destination standpoint, it's got everything we look for, from conservation to fishing to outdoor to surfing. And the history of St. Augustine, Guy, as you know, is an artist, so he does like painting, old ships, things like that, and history stuff. So it fits everything we want from a brand standpoint in the area.
That's really cool. And I know Guy Harvey. I mean, he's a fisherman, he's an artist, he's a conservationist.
Right.
And I know that he's very involved in that, which is,
well, one of my personal favorites too. It's dog friendly beach, so I always travel with my dogs, and
really?
It's one of the few spots in America, you can, or at least in Florida, we can go and your dog can be on the leash anywhere on the beach, and we do a lot of fun events with pups on the beach as well, and it's just a family fun place for anyone who's traveling throughout Florida, for sure.
Oh, that's very cool, because I have 4 dogs. Anybody who's watching my show, every once in a while you'll hear them start barking and going crazy. So I'm going to bring up, there we go. Here's the Guy Harvey Resort.
Yes, yeah. So those are actually kid-friendly rooms where we have family rooms. From a standpoint, we have dual bunk beds. If you're traveling with a family, it's kind of nice to be separated by the bunk beds. Again, trying to appeal to the families from a standpoint of just offering something a little different. You're right on the beach, so it's easy to entertain the kids as well, and that sort of gives a nice little setting from having 2 doubles to having a bunk bed plus a double.
Right. I'm going to bring it back to the main page here, and that'll kind of scroll through. I think it scrolls through some photos. There's a photo from the beach looking back at the resort.
Correct.
Of course, who doesn't like it? I could sit and look at the ocean all day. I don't know about you.
Right. So all of our hotels have, an outfitter store, which carries obviously the Guy Harvey apparel. Most of them are addressed, with the destination itself, with St. Augustine markings, and try and tailor to the fish species that are in St. Augustine. So you see a lot of tuna, a lot of, some billfish, things like that you sort of catch, redfish for sure in St. Augustine. So we try and touch on those apparel products that are there for sure.
Yeah, and his artwork is so recognizable.
Yeah.
And you guys do these outpost academies, which we're going to be a part of.
Yeah.
And do you guys do those on a regular basis? Is that something you try to do?
We do. We think it's important to highlight all the pros that we sort of work with in the area, and Bart being one of them will join us later. But really, we want to make sure the guests and the clients are learning, customers are learning from, some of the top people in the industry. So we try to do these outpost academies, at least monthly, where they're at the property or somewhere nearby the property where we can showcase fishing. We've done gator hunting, we've done surf fishing, we're doing obviously a kayak academy, we've done backcountry fishing. So we try and target a lot of audiences as far as what the interest, particularly for a destination and what people are coming to. We're looking in the future for surfing academies, also a barbecue academy that's in Augustine. So we don't want to limit it from a travel aspect of what it actually is. We want to sort of engage the guests from what that is and still learn from a pro, how to do that. And that's what we think is important with our properties.
Let's see. We have Dave Fowler saying, watching from Ottawa. It looks nice on YouTube. I'm glad to hear that. And Mark, again, the fort there is epic. I mean, I've been to Florida a bunch of times. I've never been to St. Augustine, so I'm really looking forward to that.
It has a couple great forts. So, I mean, and you can paddle right by it, which is good for you, Jim. I mean, you can even get out of the kayak for that one. So,
oh, really?
Create some great shots from it. Yeah.
And Mark says it's Jeep friendly as well.
Yeah, it's one of the few places you can drive on the beach. So if you got 4-wheel drive, you can get access to the beach and drive right in front of our resort.
Is that right?
There, yeah. So it is unique, and that's another thing that makes it such a fun destination.
That's cool. I'm trying to look over here on, like I said, I'm about to look away to look on my other screen, see if we have any. Zachariah, thanks for joining us. Said Florida's on his list for a trip in the next few years. I mean, I look at actually, I was just talking to my friend Wes Siegler because I was arranging this other show with him. And he says he's down in Florida, a little bit farther south, and he's just been crushing tarpon on the fly. So, I mean, there is a lot of great fishing in Florida, inshore, offshore, everything. I mean, it's definitely, for a fisherman, it's definitely a place to go. I personally have had terrible luck going to Florida, and nothing to do with the fishing. It's just we have been hammered by weather every time I've gone. I've been so incredibly unlucky on weather when I go there.
Well, we're promising you good weather, remember? So.
Oh, that's right. It was promised. Did you talk to Mother?
Unfortunately, we can't do a weather guarantee, but we'll do our best.
Corey says hello from Cape Hatteras. Shelly says, I guess, Robert Brown, you'll be here. Dave Thompson's, I don't know anything about the resort's locations. Do you have an all-inclusive package?
No, we don't have a current all-inclusive package, but we do have a restaurant on site. It's called Santiago's. One of Guy's first few paintings was The Old Man of the Sea, so it fits in nicely to what he's done in the past. It does great food. We got a fantastic chef there, and Chef Joe, so I have never seen too many people come away displeased with what he does. And then we have craft cocktails, so it's got a restaurant on site. It's full service. We got a tiki hut out back, but it's not an all-inclusive hotel.
I just totally screwed myself there. I was trying to get it on my other screen so I could see it a little bit better, and I got the audio. So I had you talking over the top of yourself there. So I apologize if I looked a little confused there for a second. That's the worst thing is never watch the live because there's a delay over here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, but it sounds like there's just a lot to do there in the town. I mean, I was reading on your website about some of the amenities, not just at the resort, but around town.
Yes.
It seems like a really, really cool place. I'm going to bring up one of your resident guides, your kayak fishing guide in the area, who's a friend of mine, also a member of the Jackson kayak fishing team, also a member of the Warner Paddles team, also a member of the Yak Attack team. So we're teammates on several different teams. So I'm going to bring Bart up. We had a chance to fish with him in Panama this last year, and he got the big rooster on the trip. Bart, you there, man? How are you, buddy?
Hey, good. Nice to see you, Kevin.
Good to see you, Bart.
Well, I'm going to get rid of our names because those just take up space.
There we go.
Well, like I said, we're having some technical difficulties there for some reason. Only the comments on YouTube are coming up and not the comments on Facebook. So if there's any confusion, you guys keep seeing me looking away, it's because I'm looking at a different screen and trying to bring that up. Bart, tell us a little bit about what you're all about. What do you do?
I run a kayak fishing business out of St. Augustine. I started up in 2011, and it's been a fun trip. I didn't think back when I was starting up that it would become a full-time gig, and around year 3 or 4, we were definitely started seeing an influx, and a lot of that had to do with switching over. I think it was like my second year I was switching over to using the Jackson kayak brand for my fleet, and of course those comfortable seats of the old Cuda 14s when they first came out.
Right.
Just was a perfect match, and then of course for our estuary systems around here, we got a lot of shallow water, and when the tide goes out, when you're looking at a 4 to 5 foot tidal change on some days or more, You got to have kayaks really thrive in that environment. So that's why I chose doing it out of kayaks instead of doing it out of a boat.
No, I get it. I have your website up here. It's Action Kayak Adventures. So you're now doing this as a full-time gig, eh?
Yeah, yep. Part of my greatest accomplishment years ago was, talking to the wife and making it sound like something that was a doable thing. So that was definitely a score there.
I got that same conversation with my wife many years ago.
Just to be honest, really just started up at a great time. Had some leaders like yourself and guys like Mike Hogan that had been doing it the 10 years prior to me starting up my business. And
that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Or more, good friend of mine, nice guy. Lives just a little bit north of me, up in Jacksonville.
Up in Jacksonville, put on the biggest kayak fishing tournament, the Jack's Kayak Fishing Tournament, for a long time.
Yeah, they did, and actually, that's how I heard about Jackson Kayak all those years ago when Drew Gregory would come into town. First time I seen him was pushing the old Kusa, and then a couple years later, I seen him with that Cuda. It wasn't called the Cuda 14, but it was the Cuda, and that one just really that was that just caught my eye.
Right. We have Matt Pierce is watching from Oahu. Josh Stefanich. Love Yak Attack. You guys make great products.
Yeah, they do.
Mitch is saying hello. Mitch is a Blue Sky owner.
Nice. I think you guys are bringing a couple of Blue Skies down for this, aren't you?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Is Jameson is supposed to bring some Blue Skies. So, nice. What draws you to that area, and what kind of fishing can we look forward to, Bart? And what have you been getting down in that area?
Yeah, so in this area, it's redfish, flounder, and trout are kind of our bread and butter fish for guiding, especially inshore. Seasonally, we'll get a few tarpon in. There's some snook that we're going to go chase that are just a little bit south of where the Guy Harvey Resort is located. So just a very short drive for you guys south right there. We're going to go chase some tarpon and juvenile snook in some really cool canals. Beautiful area. Really, what's kind of nice about especially staying there at the Guy Harvey, there's water right out the back of that place that's beautiful to fish. You can go fish out on the beach right there, or launch from the beach and go out from right there. Directly behind it is the Intracoastal Waterway, which has, all the fish I just spoke about there. A little bit to the south, you have Palm Coast and Ormond Beach, which just has a lot of mosquito canals, a lot of man-made environment where they drug the Intracoastal Waterway through. Totally changed the ecosystem, but that area draws in, like I said, some snook and tarpon, which are a lot of fun to target out of the kayaks. They really thrive in that environment because it's a very close, tight quarters. And then again, just to the north of where Guy Harvey is, which is where I live, just up in North St. Augustine, we have beautiful Ponte Vedra Beach area, which has Guana Tolomedo National Estuary Reserve. And there's a few areas up in that area that just really different. You're in Big Oaks and in a saltwater lake that was created for the purposes of duck hunting back in 1957. So there's the history and the culture here goes really far back, and it also has some things that maybe aren't that far back that have really changed the environment here locally that still make it a fun destination to visit, and a lot of natural stuff, and then a little bit of man-made stuff that's turned into good natural stuff over time. Definitely a different array of places. A lot of times when I have clients in that are booking for multiple days, we'll kind of do the bounce down the county here down into Flagler, so that way I'm not taking them out in the same place every day. Get a different feel for St. Augustine as a whole.
Right. So, Kevin, at the resort now, what do you guys have in the way of of amenities. Now, do you guys have kayaks? Do you guys have guides that specifically work for you, or you just have?
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was just wondering if you guys actually book guided trips through there, or if you just you work with certain guides in the area.
Yeah, we try and work with certain guides in the area because we think, there's guys like Bart who do a great job of taking customers out. We look for people who have great customer service, be able to talk about the area. You can book at our outfitter store right there, and we'll just get you connected with the guides directly. But the whole goal is to get them to the guide as fast as we can because we want to make sure they got a good time on the water and not spend too time worrying about us, the front desk. But we do adventures from offshore fishing, inshore fishing, kayaking. We'll do surf lessons. We'll do surf classes. You can do board rentals there as well. So we try and get as much activities as we can for our customers and make sure they have a fun time on the water.
It sounds great. And there's I know there's in the surrounding area there's restaurants, but it looks like looking at the website you have a restaurant on location.
Yeah, Santiago's is a real good restaurant. I think Chef Joe there does a great job, and you can go in and he has some specials at night. I think every Thursday he does prime rib night, which is pretty tasty as well. So, and he just won an award at the Taste of St. Augustine, I think, for People's Champions. He did basically a bacon conch fritter encrusted shrimp that was nothing I ever seen before, but it was outstanding, and he did win the award there for that. So that's the fun thing about St. Augustine. I don't know how many festivals they have, but they have enough one going on about every weekend. So if you go out fishing,
yes,
you go fishing one day, and then you have an event going on the next day. They got a great amphitheater for music. They've got just a lot going on for sort of a small little town, that's not very big from a standpoint of getting around. And so that's what makes it in my mind, a great destination because it's easy to get around and there's a lot to do.
Is it one of those places that basically you can just walk around?
Oh, very much so. Your downtown's an easy walk, and you want to walk that from the history of the streets, the buildings, the architecture. You go down to the beach, which is a small Uber ride or a car ride, 5 minutes maybe without traffic. And, the beach is easy to walk as well. It's not a large beach. It's sort of an old surf town beach in my mind from that standpoint where you don't have a lot of height from buildings there. You got, low density from a standpoint of Florida. And so you have a sort of surf vibe feel at the end of the day.
That's one of the really nice things about it is no high rises around. Everything's got that. I think 3 stories. Everything's right around there, so it definitely keeps that small feel to it.
So you're gonna say it's not the what shall I say? Fort Lauderdale spring break party place.
Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if that's even it yet anymore. But it's not a high rise anymore.
I'm old. I don't know.
But I mean, yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, you get the spring breakers obviously because of good weather, but it's not a high rise. It's not like Bart said. It's pretty much minimalized to 3 stories from a standpoint. So that it's not a high density spot, which makes all the charm you can find. And you got a great charming downtown. That's just a lot to do. So.
Kind of to backtrack real quick onto the restaurant, Santiago's. I've been in there 3 times, so I don't have I haven't had everything, but all 3 times I've been in there, I've ordered something different, and definitely a solid menu, and they're very good.
How's the bar?
It's right there. Oddly enough, it was right where I was ordering the food.
You're supposed to just say stocked. It's stocked and ready for
There it is. There it is.
Is the beer cold?
It's the tiki bar I'm wondering about because I've been out there a few times and to take a look at the beach and take a look at the resort, and I haven't. I'm looking forward to my teammates getting in town and hopefully Kevin and all of us having a drink out by the tiki bar there. It looks very nice.
Sounds awesome. So like I said, I'm heading down there. I've never been to this area. What should I bring with me, Bart? What fishing gear should I bring?
Well, St. Augustine is a small drinking village with a fishing problem, so we covered that issue. Really, with you coming from like saltwater already, like part of what you go chase, like the small bass in San Diego Bay with, just something kind of light. I personally am using like 1,000s, 2,500 spinning reels on some like medium light 7-foot rods. Just with a 10-pound test braid, I'm getting further casts, and I think the advantage there is to just get more bites. I rarely get broke off, even with all the oysters that we have around here. I'm still rarely getting broke off. But then again, you might want to bring out something, like there's kind of 3 stages. You got the light backwater, which the distance is a great thing. If we're messing around for kind of like the bull reds or, kind of going for like the little bit bigger fish, you want something like you'd carry out to Louisiana to pull in a big black drum with, right? And then, of course, offshore, if we get a chance to, if the seas are lied down enough where we can go out and play off the beach, which is a very good possibility. It's been light lately. There's been some cobia getting caught, and there's a few seasonal tarpon heading north. Not seeing anybody catch them, but I know there's a few seasonal ones heading north right now. And then, of course, you can always catch sharks out there. There's plenty of sharks.
I was thinking about bringing my fly rod. Should I bring it?
Yeah, definitely. That snook and tarpon that I was talking about running just a little south. I always, this time of year, highly suggest for people to bring their fly rod along with them. You can, to be honest with you, for the juvenile tarpon, fly is a better option than spinning or a lot of days even bait.
Yeah, okay. I'll definitely bring the fly rod. I'm trying to bring just travel rods with me on this one, so I don't have to pack my rod tube. So gotta see what I can do there. I just don't feel like bringing the rod tube. Are you bait fishing? You lure fishing other than the fly, obviously?
Well, I am a kayak fishing guide, and so I've got to do everything I can to try to even those odds on every day that I'm out there, not knowing who I'm getting out there with me, which is perfectly fine. I'll get one group out there that's out there. They want to cover 3 miles in and 3 miles out, or else they're not happy. They don't feel like they got their money's worth. I have other people out with kids or stuff.
We're gonna be with a bunch of very experienced anglers.
Oh yes, for us.
How would you fish it if you were just going out there to fish by yourself? How would you fish it?
I'm for like the red fish and trout, just throwing artificials, man. Hard baits, soft plastics, top water in the morning, evening, standard stuff. Now when I start getting out by like the inlet or start getting into going for the bulls, at that point, I'll switch over to bait strictly for that matter. It's just easier to work the deeper water column with the bait. And then offshore, generally, unless I just can't find bait, I'd rather have bait offshore too. Just makes where I don't have to troll the whole time I'm out there. I can go out there and just relax and enjoy a drift with a live bait.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I have no problem fishing bait, but catching a fish on a lure, it's a little more fun to me, man. Obviously most of my big fish, marlin and all that, have all been on live bait. Kevin, what about you, man? Have you jumped in a kayak yet?
I haven't done that up there. I need to take Bart up on that for sure, just so I can catch something. Not knowing the water's up there, but every time I go in and drive in, I'm usually in for a day or quick. But I look out and I say, man, what a great spot it looks like just from a paddle aspect. So I definitely need to get some tips on how to sort of catch fish up there in St. Augustine, because it looks great.
Yeah. So you are a fisherman, but more of the area. I'm sorry, I can't remember where you said.
I'm out of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, you are in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. So
okay.
So yeah, but I haven't done kayak fishing here either. So I'd love to. So it's definitely something that, again, the reason why I like the Academy too is because I think a lot of people sort of are gravitating to that sort of form of fishing, and I think it's going to be a great way sort of me to pick your guys' brain to sort of how to get out there and be a new angler in that space. So definitely want to try it.
All right, so I got a couple comments here. Mitch saying hello from Ontario. Mitch is also asking, I got to get a transducer holder for my 360 Yeah, Yak Attack makes the Switchblade for your transducer if you're going to go that route. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've used the Switchblade on kayaks. On my Blue Sky, I put my transducer right in the keel line, and so I have that thing. I made a mount to put that thing right at the back of the boat, so it's not hanging off the side and getting me a lot better readings, a lot less drag if I can get that thing in the keel line versus off to the side. So think about that, Mitch. Jeff Krasinski is saying hi. Don Fields, how you doing, man? Jody McGregor, how you doing? Chuck, how you doing, buddy? And Sean Russell, I believe was off the top of my head won are the Yak Attack rod holders the other day. Diana saying hi. Don Fields, love the St. Augustine area, great history. I fish around Rattlesnake Island at Crescent Beach. You know that spot, Bart?
Nice. Yeah, beautiful place. That's just right up the street from where you guys are going to be staying at.
Very cool. And Don also says, I'm sure they have cold beer. Bart, you have the coldest beer?
Yeah, Florida is known for a lot of cold beer, man. So I'm sure that at the resort there, that it's probably going to be right down there. With
you and I were at Los Buzos.
Yes, we were.
In Panama, endless beer. And that beer was 1/2 a degree away from freezing. It couldn't have been any colder.
It was, but I'll tell you what, the few times that beer got a little bit warm, I've kind of realized why they kept it that cold.
Panamanian beer. There's certainly no valid point.
Yeah, there you go.
Charles asking how long I'm in Florida. I will be there the 13th, and I come home on the 19th. And where are you headed? Well, we'll be at the Guy Harvey Resort in St. Augustine. So I really apologize, everybody, for not being able to bring up these comments on here. I don't know why it's not working. If you want me to be able to bring your comment up on screen, you should be watching this on the YouTube channel instead of the Facebook page. So the joys of live streaming, we always have issues from time to time, and particularly the last few days. If anybody knows, is involved in the Facebook thing, they've changed a lot of stuff. You know, they just had their big meeting here the other day, and they're going to put more emphasis on groups versus on pages, which means we really want people to, and I have it here somewhere. Where'd I put it? We really want people to join the Kayak Fishing Show with Jim Salmon's Facebook group. That way you will definitely be notified anytime we are going live, because otherwise there's big questions with what's going on with Facebook right now. They're trying to gear everything so it doesn't work for anybody. Brad Smith says, too bad you're going to be a week late. Oh, St. Augustine's inaugural beer fest is this weekend.
Nice.
I like a good beer fest.
We're going to be on the water all day. So, by the time we limp back to the resort at the end of the day, that's usually about by the time you have a couple of beers at the bar and then a couple at a tiki bar. That's about it.
One of my dogs just came in to say hello to me. The old man. I got a 14-year-old husky mix here who's old boy. So, what else can you tell us about let's talk about the Academy. I know we all kind of had a different idea of what we would do. Basically, there's going to be myself and Bart, so I can be there telling stories about my travels around the world for anybody who's going to join us, and give any tips on a lot of different aspects of kayak fishing. Bart, of course, will be there to give specifics on kayak fishing and fishing in that general area. So, because that's where he guides. If anybody's going to know it, he will. I certainly don't. And then we'll have other members, Jameson and all that, from the Jackson Kayak Fishing Team and Blue Sky. So if people have questions about the kayaks specifically or ways to fish off the guy, we're going to have a really good panel of guys there, right?
Yeah, we got we got Vincent and Robert coming down. Their last Vincent Andreas, I think, and Robert Brown. And those guys are like coming from like muskie and smallmouth territory. So if there's anybody in the local area that was kind of, maybe somebody that's local can come chat with those guys about what those boys are doing up there and having success out of kayaks up there, because it's a totally different world. Whenever I was kind of really nice about being teammates with guys like Jim and people all over the United States is, or I should say all over the world, is you go visit them, and like I never pictured myself dragging a kayak up the side of a mountain, up rocks to go up to a waterfall until I went up to Tennessee, and these guys are like traveling miles to go catch a smallie at a waterfall that nobody else can get to unless you like hike for 10 miles or kayak for 3. And I was impressed with the difference between, like, because here we're using it to get just beyond like the summer crowd, because there's every day that the summer gets nicer, and it is beautiful out right now. The weather's so nice. The bugs aren't bad. This is springtime and fall are just, heaven sent to be in this part of Florida. We really have a nice season change. We got that little bit of Atlantic breeze that comes in that kind of kicks down that the heat, kind of keeps it a little longer than a lot of other places to our south. So that's kind of another thing that's a huge draw for this part of Florida.
Very cool. Kevin, where's this going to take place? The academy.
It's going to take right outside the lobby. We're going to do it inside. We're going to have a panel, like you said, which I think is great. After you guys sort of discuss that, it allows you sort of interact from a pro level to beginner level. So I think with the talent there, it's going to be very informative. So we'll have it right in the lobby outside the meeting space there, where we can just have an interactive panel with you guys and the pros. The proceeds for the event are going to go to the Matanzas River Keepers, which is just an organization locally that is there to protect the waterways. So we're trying to give back locally as well as part of the event. So I think it's going to be a fantastic panel. I mean, I wouldn't miss it, and I'm driving up from Fort Lauderdale for this one, so I'm going to enjoy it.
Very cool. And so you said it'll be right there in the lobby. There's so people can grab a cocktail, come by and listen to us talk and ask questions. Walk around the resort, check it out. So maybe make future plans. It is. How much was it to attend?
It was $25.
$25. But again, that money is all going to the charity. Yes. And so nobody's pocketing that, but let's make it worthwhile too.
Correct. Exactly. So I think,
those guys are they're kind of watching after stuff. As someone that spends as much time on the water as I do, I'm juggling a lot of things, and I am maybe not involved as I should be. And it's just nice that guys like the Matanzas River Keepers and like guys like St. John's River Keepers and River Keepers pretty much across the country, just kind of keeping an eye and fighting the good fight, trying to keep that water good for everybody.
That's super cool. I love charity events. I'm not a big tournament guy. And when we always put on a tournament, it was always not for bragging rights or anything. Well, it was for bragging rights because all the money went to a charity. You weren't really walking away with much other than, bragging that you won. And then all the proceeds always went to our charity, which back then when we were putting on our tournament for about 12 years was all for the American Cancer Society. Mitch has a question. Do you know if the upgrade to the 2-blade for the 360 is a free upgrade, or do you have to pay? Mitch, I'm not really sure. I don't have the new 2-blade. I've heard nothing but good things about the 2-blade prop. Everybody that's using it saying it's working much better than the 3-blade. So I can try and find out for you. But off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. Chuck Levi is asking, what day is it taking place?
Saturday, May 18th, right?
May 18th. I have it here. May 18th from 2 to 5 p.m.
Correct.
So, that's a 3-hour window. So, yes, we will definitely be standing around and just answering questions, I'm sure, for a lot of that. and sipping a cold one and just, super informal. We just want this to be fun. Everybody in this group are super approachable people. And I think you can learn a lot. Anybody who comes to this has an opportunity to learn a lot. We'll probably have maybe a little bit of a formal talk to begin with, and then it's just going to be more of an open house, stand around, talk about stuff, talk about different kayaks, what we think is the best kayak for different situations. So as God knows, I think the best kayak out there is the Jackson Kayak Kraken, because my name's on it. For these type of waters, a stand-up kayak like the Kusa HD, the new Bite for somebody who's just getting into it is a great boat. Have you had a chance to try out the Bite yet, Bart?
I paddled it a little bit up in Okefenokee with Chris Funk, and nice little package, man. Nice, easy to handle. Just like I really like the weight of it, and I mean Chris isn't like a super small guy, and he was getting around like really nice in it.
Yeah. What do you think for these waters that you fish? What's your favorite boat?
I'm going to tell you what my favorite boat is, but my favorite boat for these waters is not maybe the best boat for these waters. Okay. My favorite boat is the Kraken 13.5, hands down. That's my boat. It's not designed for inshore. Could it use a few more little inshore bells and whistles? Yeah, it could, but I kind of like trick it out with what I need. It's got plenty of Yak Attack rails on it so I can hook everything I need up to it. But I'm like very stable, so I can stand like on my seat in the Kraken in the high seat position and sight fish if I want to. That's you're more
stable than me.
Yeah, I mean that's not everybody though. So like really for this area, out of the the Liska, I don't personally have one yet, but I think that from what I've seen from that boat, that is just a really nice format.
The Liska's sweet, man. I had a chance to use it. Where was I? I can't even remember where I was. Travel too much. But I had a chance to use the Liska. It's got a very light and lively feel. It's quite maneuverable, but paddles really well. And because it's got fairly low sides, it's not affected by the wind a lot. It's a very, very nice platform. I was really impressed with the Liska. Have you had a chance to use the Blue Sky yet?
I did. I've used the Blue Sky twice now. Bass fishing in the Okefenokee, and then of course a couple times just up and around at the Dealer Summit. I mean, obviously you can walk around on it, so that's a totally different world for someone like myself that usually can stand, but you can't like actually walk around. When I was just trying it in the Okefenokee, we had the new Flex Drive E, and with the electric hooked in, which goes for guys coming to the Guy Harvey Resort. It's not something I have right now because it's not released yet, but it's something that Jackson Kayak's in the process of final kind of things in production. But it's like a little electric drive system that hooks right into the current pedal drive system of the Jackson Kayak Flex Drive pedal drive systems that they're using. And it just clips right in, and we'll have power. So that's something for myself and for my clients to kind of look forward to in the years to come. Of course, we always love the exercise and love the benefits of just getting outdoors and doing the work yourself. I mean, nothing beats a paddle in your hand and going. But, hey, 25-mile-an-hour winds and, maybe second day or third day booking with me, maybe it would be nice to have that option just to kind of throw in the motor and shoot back to those fish.
Yeah, I used one of the early prototypes of the E-Drive on that. Of course, I have dual torpedoes on my Blue Sky, and that thing like, scoots.
Yeah, I
bet. The Blue Sky, I mean, honestly, has quickly become my favorite to fish off of in the flats and in skinny water. I mean, I still love the Kraken for the offshore and paddle ability. I'm a paddler, you're a paddler. And having that better paddling boat makes a big difference. But if just for straight out fun to fish off of, that Blue Sky is nuts. When I was fishing with Jameson and he was standing on top of a cooler on the front of the thing, and we were in kind of windy conditions, so he was spotting fish way before I was, being able to get up that high. And I know Drew Gregory was using it in the bass tournament, and he was standing on top of the seat. So, I mean, that's another, so you're basically 3 feet or better, 4 feet maybe off the water, your feet off the water where you're standing up. So an amazing platform and a lot of fun. And we will have a couple of those at this thing. So if anybody wants to take a look at the Blue Sky, you're more than welcome to check them out. Justin Price had a question. He says, forgive me on this, but I'm 40 minutes late. What academy is this? I'll let you answer that, Kevin, because you're the man who named it.
Sure. We call it Outpost Academy. So the Outpost Academy is a kayak fishing academy on May 18th, featuring Jim and obviously Bart Swab, who are here with us, and then obviously the Jackson Kayak team. So that's May 18th, 2 to 5. We do an Outpost Academy almost monthly, focusing on some type of outdoor instructional, and this one is kayak fishing with these guys in town. We just thought it was a great time to offer it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And believe me, these are all really, really good guys. Chuck was saying he wants to try the Mayfly. Have you had a chance to try the Mayfly? I used it in Belize. And
yeah, that is. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim.
I said for the fly fisherman, it's a great platform.
Yes, it is. I do have one of those in my fleet. I have a smile on my face right now because it just always makes me smile. Like when I have a person that calls me and they're like, do you think I could fly fish off of a kayak? And they're like, they're so clueless. They want to fly fish, but they're thinking, I don't know if I want to go with this guy. And then I'm like, hey man, I have the kayak for you, made for kayak or made for fly fishing, all the bells and whistles for it, which means no bells and whistles. It's flat format with no snagging. And that's just really, I put a micro anchor on the back of it, a power pole micro anchor. It's just really cool to look out. I look over there, I see my client electronically staking out and standing up, which is, you wouldn't think just back in 2011 when I started guiding, doesn't seem like that long ago, but I never would ever have dreamed seeing my clients stand up with a fly rod in a kayak in 2011. So it's just a lot's changed in a few years, and that's one cool thing about using Jackson Kayak for my fleet is they're constantly doing things to upgrade and change. And
well, they do have a kayak for every application and for everybody. The new Bite, kind of an entry-level stripped-down boat, just to get people into the sport. Very good price point boat. The Mayfly, as we're talking about, that is designed from the bottom up, was designed for fly fishing. So if anybody fly fishes, fly line likes to snag on everything, and they designed that thing to eliminate all the snags. And like you said, you put that power pole micro anchor on the back of it, and we were using them in Belize in fairly windy conditions. And so you're just standing on it, getting pushed by the wind. You'd see some fish out in front, hit that button, drop down the power pole, and you're casting. It's a great purpose-built boat to the big rigs, the big boats, and now they got the pedal drives, and of course the Kraken, which is more the paddlers fishing kayak. They really have a boat for everybody.
Yeah, hey, didn't we? I noticed that that kind of a little bit of time had went by. Do we have a giveaway going away at this? And do we have some stuff going when we do the academy too? Because I definitely I got one for the academy that we're going to do.
Your comment, like, and share for your chance to win a signed Guy Harvey print or shirt. Where did we get a bunch of background noise all of a sudden?
Well,
all of a sudden I'm hearing.
Where are we getting that?
Talking?
Yeah, that's no one in here.
It's really weird. All of a sudden I hear talking. So we are giving away a signed
Yeah, it's like where it's like making dinner or something.
Making dinner.
So I said in the background. Where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Let's just listen.
Yeah, we'll have a giveaway though, right?
But yes, we are giving away a signed Guy Harvey print. Kev said we could give away maybe a Guy Harvey shirt. Yeah. And then there will be some Guy Harvey giveaways during the Academy, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we always have something given away there for sure. And then Bart was going to give away a trip fishing as well. So he's there to give away that.
You're giving away a guided trip for it?
I hope so.
Yeah, man, we'll do a 4-hour trip for 2.
I mean, that is definitely
Kevin made me do it.
Yeah, I twisted his arm.
It's my pleasure. I was super excited to see Guy Harvey come into town. Didn't really think about it as something when I heard that they were reaching out to some of the guides, and was very fortunate that Kevin reached out to me and was real excited to get a kayak guide on board over there, and seeing that different, something different aspect as a huge plus to add to what the resort could offer people. And I just I thank you so much for seeing that aspect of it. And it's a pleasure to share my passion with people, and it's nice that the guys like Kevin kind of see that there's a market to get people out on the water with that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. It is nice to see that the growth and people, and when people get it.
Yeah. And I think those waterways, I mean, Bart's got endless waterways to sort of play with up there. And that's really if there's one thing I want to do there, it's always the kayak fishing when I'm up there. So I think, from a beginning angler, it's a great place to start. And obviously, if you are a kayak fisherman, I think it's a great place to go. So I'm jealous. I wish I was up there more often, actually, to be doing it for sure. So.
Justin Price had another question here for me. Mr. Jim, I enjoy your kayak fishing show on Outdoor TV channel. Do you still air episodes on that channel or with another? We are on the Sportsman's channel and on the World Fishing Network. More episodes on the World Fishing Network. We air quite a bit on the World Fishing Network, not as much on the Sportsman's channel, but there are new episodes airing currently. So a lot of new shows to see. I've been doing QC on some shows that are being submitted, and I actually get to watch the shows every once in a while. So it's kind of enjoyable. I think our guys, our editors, our cameramen do a fantastic job on the show. And I'm just the host. I just get to fish. Those guys do the hard work. But so if were you gonna say them?
How did Panama go? Did I make it on your Panama? I know that was more you and your boy trip as far as what you guys were filming for.
Caught fish.
Well, I was hopeful that I made it on the show due to that fact.
Actually, I believe.
But I know that you guys were trying to do it like you and your boy, or more so.
The Panama episode airs this weekend.
Nice.
I'm going to show you something right here. If you do not see, you obviously you don't get the channel or something, but we just posted,
I don't do TV. I'm a fishing guide, man. All I do is fish and come home and maybe Netflix and chill for 30-45 minutes and then fall asleep.
Okay, well I'm going to share the screen, do Chrome tab, share. Okay, so anybody who's wondering, this is the print that we are going to be giving away. So if you want a chance to win that signed print from Guy Harvey, that's the one. So make sure you share, comment, all that stuff. And we'll do the drawing tomorrow. So people who are watching the replay of the show will have a chance to win this as well. But nice. Hey, there's the console of our boat.
I'll share it. So, hey, I can share that after this and just tell everybody to sign up, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sure I could have probably shared this before, but.
Wow, that's nice.
That was up in Alaska many years ago, but I'm trying to find. We just posted and now there you are. See, Bart, I'm gonna
big
bring this
rooster fish. Yeah, where's that big rooster fish?
Oh, nice.
There's no audio, unfortunately.
That place was truly amazing. That fishery. I know it was kind of a slow week while we were there for sure. But
here you are, sir. So you made it on the show.
Yeah.
But no, we have you landing that big rooster, and we'll just let that run for a second so people can actually see it. This is one of our shows. That's the tackle shop at Los Buzos Resort in Panama. There's some underwater footage I got of and there's you with a snook. You just like running around without a shirt on.
That's what happens when you grow up in Florida, man. It's not like California where it gets cold in the evening time. It stays hot here steadily. It's like nighttime, 2:00 in the morning, you can still have no shirt.
Yeah, I kind of got to the point. There you are. There's your big rooster.
Nice.
So that was we'll stop sharing that. So anyway, so now you have if you had not seen it.
Had not.
I may have some a longer edition of that I can get to you. So
Cool.
we're basically out of time. These shows always fly by fast. I appreciate everybody who joined us here today, and I apologize for not getting all of these comments up on screen. I really don't know what the problem was. We'll be having some conversations with the software people after I'm done here to figure out what was up. But people want to go to the Guy Harvey Resort, St. Augustine Beach. There is the web address, Guy Harvey Resort, St. Augustine Beach.com. You can get more information. Kev, thanks so much for coming on the show today, and also for hosting this event next week. I'm really looking forward to that. And to find Bart, you can find him at actionkayakadventures.com. And book your trip with Bart to go kayak fishing in St. Augustine, Florida.
There we go. We'll catch fish or paddle a lot trying.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you both Monday.
Yeah, you bet.
Right on down the way.
You at the airport, Bart? Are you my chauffeur from the airport?
Yeah, I'm your Uber ride back down, man. So let's make sure we get in good contact, so that way I'm all lined up to get you there.
For sure. All right, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Thanks again, and you take care.
Thank you, Jim.
Have a good one.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody joining us, and again, I apologize for the issues we had and not getting everybody on screen and everything. I don't know what the problem is. It's the nature of live streaming, but I hope you can make it to the event next. Again, that's May 18th from 2 to 5. And remember, this Friday, Wes Siegler will be joining me here. You'll have an opportunity to win something cool from Wes. If you are going out on the water here any days this week, again, always wear your PFD and keep your paddle right side up. You take care.
I'm going fishing.